property which has been held for a period of 1 year, and there are rules regarding it to be distributed among the poor and the needy to help those who are in the need of that kind of help. And finally, the fifth being the pilgrimage or Hajj, where Muslims from all over the world re-emphasize the fact that they are one community, and they meet together in Saudi Arabia, in Mecca in Saudi Arabia, at the place where Abraham stood, and the place where Abraham and his firstborn had built an altar and prayed to God. So these are some of the salient aspects of Islam. There's nothing to be feared about it. It is a belief system, a value system, a set of beliefs controlling every aspect of life. And God willing, you should learn more about it while you're with us.
It is my pleasure to introduce to an eminent international scholar, Dr. Maurice Bucaille, who is sitting next to me. However, there are a large number of people who may not know him very well because they are not the people in this field. Dr. Maurice Bucaille is a native of France, and he studied medicine and specialized in surgery. He has great interest in Bible all his life, and he read Old and New Scriptures much in detail, and he mastered the knowledge very well. Through his contacts with his patients, some of them happen to be Muslims and some other people, he got interested in reading Qur'an. And during his studies of French and English translations, there were things which did not make sense to him. He was invited to learn Arabic and read the book Arabic, because Qur'an is something which cannot be translated. And you know that translation of Qur'an is not Qur'an. Qur'an is Arabic. If anyone wants to know about Qur'an, Arabic is the only way to know Qur'an. You must learn Arabic. During his studies, at age 50, he took upon himself to start learning Arabic. In about 2 years, he was beginning to read the Qur'an in Arabic, and he studied the whole book. As a scientist, he picked out the verses which reflect upon scientific facts. And as he had done before with regards to Old and New Testament, he compared the scientific reflections in the scripture with the modern scientific knowledge. And he found certain things which were great revelation to him, and he decided to write books. He wrote a book in French which was subsequently translated, the Bible, the Qur'an and Science. This is the pocket book edition available. We have hardback available outside. If you are interested, you can buy a copy when you go out. And he also tackled the problem of creation versus evolution. Qur'an had something to guide, something to say, and he came up with another book, What is the Origin of Man? And that is the topic of his tonight, and you will know in detail what he has to say about it. Of course, he cannot say the whole book. He has to summarize it in 1 hour. And if you want to know all the details, the book is available outside, and you can buy that one. He has just finished a third book about the medicine and pharaohs, mummies of pharaohs in Egypt. And that is in process of publication, and he's also giving talks on that, and we do not have much time for him to give a talk on the topic. He has created much interest in France, and 2 of his books in French have become bestsellers, and are selling very good. And the Christian churches are recommending to their membership to read his books. And regarding this, what is the origin of man, I have a letter in front of me which has been translated from French to English, so I can read to you.
Commentary.
It's an official commentary of the Christian Church, Christian Book Office. This translation says, regarding his book, What is the Origin of Man, by Dr. Maurice Bucaille, in order to read this book, one requires a certain command of science and exegesis. The aim of the author is to eliminate mistaken ideas concerning the origin of man, such as man descends from apes. The Bible is wrong. There's a quotation. The merit of the work is that it demonstrates the lack of opposition between science and the Bible or the Qur'an. This part of the book is perhaps the most interesting for those who have no knowledge of the Qur'an. Dr. Bucaille's book is to be used as a tool for groups studying the first chapter of Genesis. Ladies and gentlemen, with this note, I leave this place for Dr. Maurice Bucaille. Please come over here.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you very much for your kind introduction. It is my pleasure to be among you this evening. I visited Chicago for the first time 2.5 years ago. It was a short stay in Chicago, and it was my pleasure to visit you again. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Man questioning himself on the origin of his species initially had at his disposal for reflections, traditions and superstition passed on from generation to generation, and for which the source material is lost in the darkness of time. In a secondary stage, and before science was in a position to shed some light on the problem, as it is the case in our days, religious teachings and various philosophical systems brought elements for reflection. We must emphasize the influence on the human mind of the teachings of the scriptures of the 3 monotheistic religions. During many centuries, the only source of ideas consisted of notions drawn from them. The divine revelation was initially communicated by word of mouth and then in written form. One commonly speculates on the date at which man became aware of the first revelation. As to the manner it came to him, are we not permitted to suppose that Noah was the first to bring this subject to the attention of his people? The Bibles make a reference to this fact, and we take from the Qur'an the idea that the first call to man to meditate on its origin was made by Noah. The most ancient text of the Holy Scriptures that we possess and which deals with human origins as creative work of God are without doubt based on what we presently know about the 2 Yahvist and sacerdotal narratives of the Bible. The Yahvist version of the Bible, the most ancient one, is today considered to have been written in the 9th or